Term 2, primary 1. For maths in term 2, once your child is confident working with their numbers to 10, we'll then introduce them to the numbers from 10 to 20. In maths, we like to group, if we can, larger numbers into groups of 10 and then have a look at anything that's left over. So here we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that's one group of 10. You know, there's 10 there. But what if we had a number bigger than 10? I know I've got one group of 10 there, but I've got 3 more. So when we're constructing numbers beyond 10, we've got one group of 10, and then we've got 3 units left over. So that's the number 13. If we've got some more counters, I know that this is one group of 10 I've got here, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that takes us up to 15. You can get your child to start from 10 and then count onwards. I've got 10 here, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. One common mistake for primary ones is to get confused with which way round we write the number. They'll probably remember that it's got a 1 and a 5 in it, but it's a common mistake for the reversal. So what we really like to do is to emphasise something called a place value board. So this is looking at our tens and our units, our individual ones. So if I have a look at my counters here, I know I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got one group of 10 here. So I can put in my place value board my 1 in the tens column, and then I've got one unit, I've got one left over that isn't in a full group of 10. So that makes 11. Or we've got 10 and 1. So it's really useful to go through the place value board too. When we get up to 20, I know I've got one group of 10 there. Let's put some more counters on. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I've now got enough that I can make a second group of 10. That's my first group of 10. I've now got another group of 10. So when I'm writing out my number, I've got 1, 2 groups of 10, but I don't have anything left over. So I put a 0 there to show that I don't have any remainders, I don't have any units. And then that will help us to construct the number 20. As well as being introduced to numbers from 10 to 20, the second element that we're looking at in maths in term 2 is addition. In primary 1, we introduce addition using concrete objects because it's much easier a concept to understand if we're physically moving things. So we'll be looking at addition to 10. So here's quite an easy way that we would use to introduce. So I've got 2 groups here. What do I get when I bring them together? And your child will be encouraged to actually move each object. So I've got 1, 2 in this group. So I've got 2 here. How much have I got altogether? 1, 2, carry on counting from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All together, when I've added up my 2 groups, I've got the number 6. Let's try it again. So I've got 1, 2 over here, 1, 2. When I go to my other group and bring that down 2, I've now got a total of 3. As well as using part whole boards, we've also got these. These are 10 squares. The 10 squares has got 5 squares at the top and 5 squares at the bottom. And the counters that we use here are quite clever because they're reversible for colour-wise. So here, if I was to have a look at what made up 10, I could count. I've got 1, 2 yellow, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red. But when I add them all together, I know I've got 1, 2 here, so I can hold that number in my head. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I could, and your child hopefully as they progress with addition will realise that it doesn't matter which number you start with, the answer will still be the same. So we would, as they become more confident with adding, encourage them to start with a larger number. So I've got a row of 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 here, and then if I carry on adding on my next colour, 9, 10. I've got 10 altogether. Again, it's a similar idea here with the ladybird. We can have spots on each side. How many have we got altogether? So again, we would encourage your child to move the spots together. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 spots here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to continue counting from 4 as I bring down my other side. 4, 5, 6, 7. Altogether, my ladybird had 7 spots. Towards the end of term 2, they'll also be encouraged to be able to write the number sentence that they've just created with their addition. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 spots here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when I have my next group of spots, which is 3, 1, 2, 3, altogether I've got 4, 5, 6, 7 spots. So my total answer is 7. As your child becomes confident with physical objects, we can then move on to illustrating our number sentences using pictures. So if I was given this maths sum to do, 1 plus 3, I can show it in picture forms, just simple dots. I've got 1 on this side, I've got 1, 2, 3. All together I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And I can write my number 4 like this. So once your child, as I said, is comfortable with physical objects, we'll then move on to demonstrating our addition in different ways.